Smart people think differently than others. They see things that many people miss. They ask questions that others do not think about. They want to learn new things every day. They read books, watch educational videos, and talk about deep topics. Smart people often think about big problems in the world. They worry about things like climate change, poverty, and social issues. While others talk about simple daily things, smart people think about complex matters. This makes them different from most people around them. Many smart people have unusual hobbies. They might study stars, read philosophy books, or learn new languages. They enjoy puzzles and brain games. They like to understand how things work. They ask why and how about everything they see. Smart people also have different ways of having fun. They might prefer quiet activities like reading or writing. They enjoy deep conversations more than small talk. They like to spend time alone thinking about ideas. They find joy in learning something new. Because smart people think differently, they often feel like outsiders. They cannot always share their thoughts with others. Many people do not understand their interests or ideas. This difference in thinking creates a gap between smart people and others. Smart people are not better than others. They are just different. But this difference can make them feel alone in a world where most people think in simpler ways. Understanding this difference is the first step to understanding why smart people feel lonely. Smart people often have interests that others find boring or strange. While most people talk about sports, weather, or celebrities, smart people want to discuss books, science, or world events. This creates a problem when they try to make friends or talk with others. At parties or social gatherings, smart people feel out of place. When everyone talks about popular TV shows, they might want to discuss a documentary they watched. When others share gossip, they prefer to talk about new discoveries or ideas they learned. This makes conversations difficult. Smart people often feel excited about things that others find dull. They might get happy about a new book, a scientific breakthrough, or solving a difficult problem. But when they share this excitement, others do not understand why these things matter. This lack of shared excitement makes smart people feel alone. Many smart people try to join conversations about popular topics. They force themselves to talk about things they do not care about, but this feels fake and empty to them. They cannot be themselves in these conversations. This makes them feel even more lonely and disconnected. Smart people also spend their free time differently. While others watch entertainment shows, smart people might read research papers or attend lectures. While others go to loud parties, smart people prefer quiet museums or libraries. These different choices mean they spend less time with others. This difference in interests is not anyone's fault. People like different things, but it creates a barrier between smart people and others. Finding people who share their interests becomes very important for smart people to feel less lonely. Smart people cannot turn off their brains. They think deeply about everything they see and hear. While others accept things as they are, smart people always ask questions. They want to understand the reasons behind everything. This constant thinking can be very tiring and lonely. When smart people watch a movie, they think about its deeper meaning. They analyze the characters, the story structure, and the social messages. While others just enjoy the entertainment, smart people are busy thinking and analyzing. This makes it hard for them to relax and enjoy simple things. Smart people also overthink their relationships. They analyze every conversation they have. They wonder what people really mean when they speak. They think about hidden meanings in simple words. This overthinking makes social situations stressful and confusing for them. In daily life, smart people see problems that others do not notice. They worry about things that might happen in the future. They think about consequences that others ignore. While this deep thinking can be useful, it also creates anxiety and worry that others do not understand. Smart people often feel frustrated when others do not think as deeply as they do. They cannot understand why people accept simple answers to complex questions. They get upset when others do not see obvious problems or solutions. This frustration makes them feel distant from others. This deep thinking is both a gift and a burden. It helps smart people understand the world better, but also makes them feel alone. They carry heavy thoughts that others do not share. Learning to manage this deep thinking is important for smart people to feel happier and less lonely. Smart people have ideas that others find hard to understand. They see solutions to problems that others cannot see. They make connections between different topics that seem unrelated to most people. When they share these ideas, others often look confused or uninterested. At work or school, smart people might suggest new ways to do things. They see better methods or more efficient solutions, but others prefer to stick with old ways of doing things. People resist change, even when the new ideas are clearly better. This rejection makes smart people feel frustrated and alone. Smart people also have creative ideas that others do not appreciate. They might think of new inventions, write unusual stories, or create unique art, but others do not understand or value these creative expressions. They prefer familiar and simple things over new and complex ideas. When smart people try to explain their thoughts, they often use words that others do not know. They reference books, theories, or concepts that others have never heard of. This creates a communication barrier. Others feel stupid or left out, which makes them avoid the smart person. Smart people sometimes feel like they are speaking a different language. They have to simplify their ideas so much that the original meaning gets lost. This is frustrating because they cannot share their real thoughts with others. They feel like no one truly understands them. Over time, smart people learn to keep their ideas to themselves. They stop sharing their thoughts because they expect rejection or confusion. This silence makes them feel even more isolated and lonely. They carry their ideas alone, with no one to discuss or develop them further. Many smart people struggle with social skills. They are excellent at understanding books, solving problems, or learning new subjects, but they find it hard to understand people and social situations. This creates problems in making friends and building relationships. Smart people often focus more on facts and feelings. They prefer logical discussions over emotional conversations. When someone is upset, smart people might try to solve the problem with logic instead of offering emotional support. This approach makes others feel misunderstood and uncared for. Social situations have unwritten rules that smart people sometimes miss. They might not understand when to speak and when to listen. They might share too much information or ask too many questions. They might not notice social cues that tell them how others are feeling. Smart people sometimes say things that hurt others without meaning to. They might correct someone's mistake in public or point out flaws in someone's idea. They think they're being helpful, but others see this as rude or showing off. This damages their relationships with others. Many smart people feel awkward at social events. They do not know how to make small talk or casual conversation. They feel uncomfortable in groups where people talk about simple topics. They might stand alone at parties or avoid social events completely. Smart people often wish they could trade some of their intelligence for better social skills. They see that people with good social skills have more friends and seem happier. They realize that being smart is not enough to have good relationships. This realization can make them feel even more lonely and different from others. Smart people often have very high expectations for themselves and others. They expect conversations to be meaningful and deep. They want friends who can discuss complex topics and share intellectual interests. These high expectations make it hard to find people who meet their standards. Smart people get disappointed when others do not think as carefully as they do. They expect people to research topics before having opinions. They want others to use logic and evidence in discussions. When people share ideas without thinking deeply, smart people feel frustrated and let down. In relationships, smart people might expect their partners to be as intelligent as they are. They want someone who can understand their ideas and share their interests. But finding such a person is very difficult. Most people cannot meet these high intellectual expectations. Smart people also set high standards for themselves. They feel guilty when they cannot solve every problem or understand every topic. They push themselves to be perfect in everything they do. This pressure creates stress and makes them feel like they are never good enough. These high expectations create a cycle of disappointment. Smart people meet someone new and hope they will be different. But when the person cannot meet their expectations, they feel let down again. This repeated disappointment makes them stop trying to connect with others. Smart people need to learn that not everyone can or wants to think at their level. They need to appreciate people for their other qualities, like kindness, humor, or loyalty. Lowering their expectations slightly can help smart people build better relationships and feel less lonely. Smart people often feel like they do not fit into society. They see problems with systems and traditions that others accept without question. They want to improve things, but others resist change. This makes smart people feel like outsiders in their own communities. Society often values different things than smart people do. While smart people care about learning, truth, and progress, society might focus more on entertainment, money, or popularity. Smart people feel frustrated when they see society ignoring important issues or making poor decisions. Smart people sometimes feel like they live in the wrong time period. They might think they would fit better in a different era when people valued knowledge and wisdom more. They feel disconnected from modern culture and its values. This feeling makes them lonely in their own time. At work, smart people might see inefficiencies or problems that others ignore. They suggest improvements but are told to just do their job. They watch their workplace make mistakes that could be easily avoided. This makes them feel like their intelligence is not valued or wanted. Smart people also feel misunderstood when they try to help others. They offer advice or solutions, but people get angry or defensive. Others think smart people are trying to show off or act superior. But smart people genuinely want to help and make things better. This feeling of being misunderstood by society is very isolating. Smart people feel like they are swimming against the current while everyone else goes with the flow. They question whether they should keep trying to fit in or just accept being different and alone. Smart people cannot ignore problems that others do not see. They notice flaws in systems, mistakes in reasoning, and potential dangers that others miss. While this awareness can be helpful, it also creates a heavy mental burden that makes them feel alone with their worries. When smart people read the news, they see deeper issues than the headlines show. They understand the complex causes behind simple events. They worry about long-term consequences that others do not consider. This deep understanding of problems makes them feel anxious and overwhelmed. Smart people also see problems in their daily lives that others ignore. They notice when stores charge unfair prices, when politicians make false promises, or when companies harm the environment. They feel responsible to do something about these problems. But they cannot fix everything alone. At work or school, smart people see ways things could be done better. They notice waste, inefficiency, and poor planning. But when they point out these problems, others see them as complainers or troublemakers. People prefer to ignore problems rather than face difficult truths. Smart people carry the weight of knowledge that others do not want to hear. They know about climate change, social inequality, and other serious issues. But when they try to discuss these topics, others change the subject or get uncomfortable. This leaves smart people alone with their concerns. This burden of seeing problems everywhere can make smart people feel hopeless and isolated. They feel like they're the only ones who care about important issues. They struggle with the question of whether ignorance might actually be bliss for those who choose not to see these problems. Smart people need to find others who think like them, but this is very difficult. They need friends who can understand their ideas, share their interests, and engage in deep conversations. Finding these special people takes time and effort that many smart people do not know how to spend. Most social groups are formed around simple common interests like sports, hobbies, or work. But smart people need groups based on intellectual compatibility. They need people who enjoy learning, thinking, and discussing complex topics. These groups are rare and hard to find. Smart people often try to join existing groups but feel out of place. Book clubs might be too focused on light reading. Professional groups might be too focused on networking rather than learning. Academic groups might be too narrow in their focus. Finding the right balance is challenging. When smart people do find others like them, they often live far away. Online communities can help, but smart people also need face-to-face connections. They need people they can meet for coffee, attend events with, or call when they need support. Distance makes these relationships difficult to maintain. Smart people sometimes have to choose between being alone or being with people who do not understand them. Both choices lead to loneliness. Being alone is peaceful but isolating. Being with incompatible people is draining and frustrating. Neither option fully meets their social needs. Building a tribe takes patience and persistence. Smart people need to keep looking for their people while being open to connections that might not be perfect. They need to create opportunities to meet like-minded individuals and be willing to invest time in building meaningful relationships. Smart people can take steps to feel less lonely while staying true to themselves. The first step is accepting that they are different and that this difference is not a flaw. They need to embrace their intelligence as a gift, even though it sometimes feels like a burden. Smart people should actively look for communities where they can belong. They can join book clubs, attend lectures, take classes, or participate in online forums about topics they love. These activities increase their chances of meeting like-minded people who share their interests and thinking style. Learning better social skills can help smart people connect with others. They can practice small talk, learn to listen more, and try to find common ground with different types of people. They do not need to hide their intelligence, but they can learn to communicate in ways that make others comfortable. Smart people should also appreciate the good qualities in others, even if they are not intellectually compatible. They can value people for their kindness, humor, creativity, or other positive traits. Not every relationship needs to be intellectually stimulating to be meaningful and enjoyable. Creating a balanced social life helps reduce loneliness. Smart people can have different types of friends for different needs. They might have intellectual friends for deep discussions and casual friends for relaxation and fun. This variety prevents them from putting too much pressure on any one relationship. Most importantly, smart people should be patient with themselves and others. Building meaningful relationships takes time. They should not give up on connecting with others, even after disappointments. With effort and understanding, smart people can find their place in the world and build relationships that reduce their loneliness while honoring their intelligence.